some of the facts about dogs. A dog bite occurs every 75 seconds in the United States every day. Over 1,000 citizens need emergency medical care, mostly children. In 2010, dogs attacked over 6,750 U.S. postal workers, which is over 200 more than that previous year. Dog bites and dog bite-related injuries accounted more than 1/3 of all homeowner liability claims paid out in 2017, costing almost $700 million. 4.5 million dog bites occur each year in the United States. 1 out of 5 gets infected. In 2015, more than 28,000 people went under reconstructive surgery as a result of being bitten by a dog. Adults with 2 or more dogs in the household are 5 times more likely to be bitten than those that live without. I do understand that there are some breeds that are more likely to be aggressive than others, but the problem with that is those breeds, the most aggressive ones, are now the most favored and in the most demand right now. Look at the yearly demand. It gets higher every year. So far, we can determine this much. Now, in the United States, we have a large amount of damage to ourselves, our children, and the environment, while the whole time our society talks about other, less dramatic, less lethal acts that occur to our children every year. Not only is nothing said, we as a collective group ask for, demand, and protect the most dangerous and unpredictable of these breeds. The pit bull, pits, bullies, Rottweilers, whatever you want to name them or call these vile and dangerous creatures, our culture is demanding more of them. Pit bull breeds are more than 2.5 times more likely than other breeds to bite in multiple anatomical locations. And if you don't realize yet, children who are victims of these creatures suffer permanent, lifelong scars to mostly their face, arms, and they must carry them for the rest of their lives, just because the parents and grown-ups around them of their actions or their inactions. Most insist that we play this game of Russian roulette with our children's life, safety, health, and their future. The most alarming is the observation that when attacks came from unfamiliar dogs, the pit was responsible for 60 to 65% of all injuries and ocular injuries. Of more than 8 different breeds identified, 1/3 were caused by pit bull terriers and resulted in the highest consultation and had 5 times the relative rate of surgical intervention. Although a number of dog breeds were identified, the largest group was a pit terrier whose resultant injuries were more severe and resulted from unprovoked, unknown dogs. One study resulted in finding the dogs caused the injuries were overwhelmingly familiar with the patient. 53% of the dogs belonged to the family. In this, pits were the most common responsible. Attacks by pits are associated with the higher morbidity rates, higher hospital charges, and higher risk of death than are attacks by any other breed. From 2005 to 2017, pit bulls killed 284 American citizens, about 1 every 16.7 days, versus the Rottweiler, which kills about 105 days. Also, for 2005 to 2017, the pit bull and Rottweilers contributed to 76% of the total recorded deaths. When the Mastiff breed was included, this group climbed to 80%. Newborn infants and toddlers, aged 0 to 2 years old, made up 27% of the dog bites fatality victims. From 2005 to 2017, the highest rate of infants under 1 year old counted for 48% of all of those 0 to 2 victims. In a 13-year study, the pit bulls inflicted 72% of attacks that killed a person 10 years old and older versus all other dog breeds combined. 2005 to 2017, family dogs inflicted 54% of all the fatal attacks. 64% were perpetrated by pit bulls. Of the 284 fatal pit bull attacks, 52% involved killing a family member or a household member. 2005 to 2017, there were 97 fatal attacks involving 3 dogs or more. Death resulted 16 times more frequently when 2 or more pits were involved than when the group of dogs had only 1 pit among them. In 2018, a 2-year-old girl was mauled to death by the family dog in Texas. 2018, an infant was mauled to death by the babysitter's dog in Georgia. 2018, a baby was killed by a pit bull while under grandma's care in California. 2018, a new family pit bull kills a 3-year-old girl in Oklahoma. 2018, a dog kills an 8-year-old boy and injures another in South Carolina. 2017, a newborn mauled to death by a family dog in Cleveland, Ohio. 2017, pit bull kills 3-week-old baby girl in Grand Rapids, Michigan. In 2017, pit bull kills a baby in Las Vegas. 2016, a 3-day-old baby was killed by the uncle's dog in Fresno, California. 2016, a boy is killed by his sister's 3 pit bulls in Yuba County, California. In July of 2019, a missing Texas man was eaten by his own dogs. 18 aggressive dogs, mostly pit bulls. They found his remains in their fecal matter. In April of 2019, a Nevada toddler, only 1-year-old, dies after being attacked by the family friend's Rottweiler. 2019, stray dogs maul a man to death on the 4th of July. 6 pit bull mixed dogs were responsible. One news story reports from February 17th in 2017 out of Phoenix, Arizona, an illness that has sickened dozens of dogs is spreading in the valley, and vets say this could easily be transferred to humans. There's another news story dated June 2018. The rise of dog flu strain could increase risk of the next human pandemic. Scientists warn the pattern of transmission into dogs very reminiscent of the lead-up to 2008 swine flu outbreak, the experts warn. In August of 2019, a woman lost her hands and her legs from puppy kisses. An infection that started from a puppy lick spread to her limbs and had to be removed. This would be the second such story this year alone. This list I have compiled is very brief as compared to what dogs have done to mankind and our offspring. The latest news about dogs is very unusual and unforeseen. These attacks, the spread of sickness, the killing of our children, the mauling, the environmental poisoning, the possibility of mass epidemic of illness, all of these have been happening at an increased rate and started when man started this bizarre ritual of cohabitation and raising the equality of animals to the level of mankind. As a collective group, we say nothing. Instead, we promote, protect these violent baby killers. As a group, we are blinded to the real health hazard in our lives. Mostly this is due to what is called human attachment disorder. We have mostly lost the ability to interact with humans and choose to attach ourselves to an ignorant creature to bond with because, well, there's normally no feedback from these things. No negative feedback anyway. So to us humans, in the end, we spend more time with these ignorant creatures than our own family, friends, neighbors, and especially people in need. We in America spend billions of dollars annually on our dogs. Look it up. It climbs every year, and it's in the billions of dollars. Much more than we collectively give to needy people in our own communities. Why is that? What is the overall end result of all this effort, protection, and resources spent on the dog? What if we were to put billions of dollars into our future of our children, or the protection of our elderly? Or how about community resource projects to help people that are in need? You must be aware that no animal of any kind, type, age, breed, or species is more valuable than any human being, nor can they ever be equated with mankind. Animals are animals. You can't train the instinct out of any creature. God programmed them that way. And God programmed us to care for and love humans, humankind, and humanity. Then we are to tend to and to be good stewards with or of his creation. He's allowing us to help. But now we are sick indeed. We have now forsaken our own species for a completely different one. Something that, by the way, has never, ever happened in the animal kingdom's entire history, to give up one kind for another. All because we have a lack of love for our fellow brothers and sisters. People in this age are lawless, according to what God says. This is a sick condition I am describing, but really, it's just a sign of a real big sickness. And it is a true and real marker of a degrading society. Up until this point, I have viewed history, archaeology, science, medical, and health facts to prove that dogs are really not valuable, especially today. I know the detailed world history and the U.S. history of dogs, and I don't deny that dogs played a big part in history. In the making of America, dog plays a big part in helping there as well. But so did horses, repeater rifles, and whiskey. But I really don't see the obsessed masses telling you about their cute lever action and how that you should have to love it or you don't love them, or forcing you to be fully engaged with your weapon 24 hours a day in your face and demanding you clean up its wasted shells. In our modern culture, up to 90% of the dogs have no real purpose other than to transmit parasites and diseases, shed, eat, and defecate. The ones that are valuable are rare, and they are rare, and they're almost all professionally trained, and they do serve a real purpose. And of course, they have a whole bunch of imagined purposes as well. And before you think that man's best friend helps and rescues people, this is very rare. They are almost always done by trained dogs. There are, on the average, about 7 of these a year. Compared to thousands of maulings, deaths to infants, and the things that I've described, the dog's value is very low. They're not worth the risks. There are hundreds of more family dogs that are lazy and untrained. Dog bites and maulings kill hundreds a year. If anything else in our society had this kind of record of killing and permanently maiming, especially our children, we would be all upset and protesting. We would want lawsuits, reparation, and justice. We would use family safety as a priority if cars cause this kind of damage on their own. Lack of knowledge is how mankind and any of us suffer. Please educate yourself. Be proactive against things that harm our children. So after all that I have laid out, it's time to check what the Bible says. I have collected some data so you can see the true value of these creatures from God's point of view. The word dog or dogs occurs 40 times in the King James Version of our Bible. 27 times dogs, 13 times refers to dog. In 2 of the verses in the New Testament, it is talking about a male prostitute and not a real dog. 7 verses talk about dogs eating humans. 3 referring to dogs drinking human blood. 3 referring to dogs attacking people. Lazy people are referred to 11 times. That dogs have a reference to very low value. 10 times it compares to dogs to evil or lazy people. 2 verses refer to not purposely abusing the dog. But you'll also find that this is true in our Bible about every animal. We are to use them and be stewards with God, but never to abuse the animal, especially for any reason. All the verses, but a couple, put dogs in a very evil and dark light. The value of a dog is one step above that of a dead lion. When the Bible is talking about dogs eating human flesh and drinking human blood, it's after God punishes his enemies in a prophecy. He commands the dogs to clean up the mess. This is a very low blow to your enemy, to have the lowest of creatures consume your remains after a defeat. Humans that are lazy and evil are compared to dogs in the Bible. This can't be good. So to the end of my rant on this subject, I will say that we must, as a people group, get better at handling this epidemic. Be content with the company of people, your family, your friends, and most importantly, God. Put him first in all things, then family and friends. This is the first step in a much-needed change in all of our collective attitudes towards ourselves, our brothers and sisters around us. Take the time to invest yourself in friendships and the service of others, not dogs or any other pets. Take the time to do the things for the most important people that our God wants us to focus our attention on.